What I will be taking you through today is, till he sets up my presentation. It was very interesting to hear Harish, and it was interesting to hear a lot of questions around CSR. I think there is a tendency to narrow CSR down to doing good in the old Tata Birla tradition of Khairat. If you move away from CSR and if you look at from a sustainability standpoint, that is probably then it will start making sense. And if you talk to your clients or if you look at organizations which look at this very closely, it will start making a lot more sense. Our chairman, Mr. Muhtar Kent, has this line that we keep repeating to ourselves and wherever we are. He said, sustainable businesses thrive in sustainable communities. And this is not something that I'm talking about selling just pure clothes or a very fancy gadget like this. I'm talking about a simple 10 rupee, 8 rupee bottle of Coke, which you, your driver, everybody buys the same thing. So for us, sustainability is an all-encompassing thing. Right down from top down, it's part of the 6 Ps, which my CEO, to right up to Mr. Muhtar Kent, everybody gets graded on their annual appraisal, which is the planet. And there are various elements in it, and I wish I could have taken you through that. It's called the new framework which got launched, and if you're interested, you could look up the Global Coca-Cola website. It's called the Me, We, and the World. Me as in, as an individual, we as in as a group, and world as in the world as a whole. And this program that I'm going to talk to you about, Support My School, it's a campaign that we initiated in India about a couple of years back along with NDTV and UN Habitat. And the journey along on this campaign, I don't know how many of you have seen or heard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a small AV which will bring you up to speed on what the campaign is, and then the presentation will make a little bit more sense.
Us as individuals, as companies, can also try and do our little bit to try and help in improving the facilities in our schools.
The thing that hits me the most is no toilet facilities for girl children.
To me, I think woman is the backbone of any family. To provide them better facilities, good education is extremely important.
We've chosen building a healthy environment for our children to learn and go back to the schools.
Effort today to raise enough money to be able to provide those facilities to at least 100 schools.
Please help keep India's children where they belong in schools.
विद्यालय में सब प्रकार की सुविधा हो गई हैं। पहले हमें बहुत परेशानी उठानी पड़ती थी, वॉशरूम के पीछे छुट्टियां करनी पड़ती थी। अब हमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। अब हमारा स्कूल बहुत अच्छा हो गया है।
This actually is the 100th school that has been helped in this manner, and it's been done by funds provided by Sachin Tendulkar himself.
मैं कहूँगा ये 100th स्कूल है, ये मेरी फेवरेट सेंचुरी है।
We're looking forward to coming back next year, and you said a double century.
Why not? Of course.
The presentation. I'm not going to talk about the media angle. I think a lot is spoken. I think I'll concentrate on some of the elements that I heard from all of you and look at, say, a campaign and how a campaign architecture is actually built. A PR can only take you as far as how strong the whole idea is. Coca-Cola, as part of its sustainability exercise, does a lot of water-related activities. We put in as much amount of water we take out from the ground, we put that back in. We've got enough potential. We did a PR around that, but we said, okay, let's move from water to water-related issues. And if you look at schools, toilets don't function if you don't have water. there's no drinking water or there's no water to wash hands, your children fall sick. If you look at this, it accelerates dropout, and that is what we did as a campaign. These are all some of the things I hope you'll be able to, I don't know if you can't read it, but about 1 in 2 children drop out by 8th standard. And 50% of rural schools don't have toilet for girls. You could look at, it is beyond the Twitter and beyond the impatience that we've been talking about it. There's a whole India which is probably 10 times the India that we know of. This is what we were talking about. And it said, okay, we'll look and how we can actually build a campaign where we influence the 3 main elements, the government, the businesses, and the civil society, to move in a certain direction and focus on these issues. These are the elements that the campaign spoke about: sanitation, water, rainwater harvesting. And we had a whole timeline of a campaign, which I can talk to you separately post the discussion. Because I want to make sure that you understand that behind the scenes, along with our PR agency, Perfect Relations in this case, we actually worked on the campaign architecture. And this took about a year and a half worth of work before we actually saw the first thing go on air, including getting Sachin Tendulkar on board. Moving on, rather than trying to solve everything by yourself, Coca-Cola is a reasonably big organization with reasonably big funds, can reasonably write reasonable amount of checks. But as we spoke about checkbook philanthropy, it was not part. The idea had 2 things part of it. One, how can we take this message that water is critical, lack of water causes social issues, and how do we address that? And second, how do we bring in people? How do we make this campaign that belongs to each and everyone? I said, okay, we will go out, do the campaign, we'll raise awareness, we'll do, Coca-Cola does what the best is in branding, in advertising, in marketing. We'll do that, plus we'll also raise money from people. And that's how we'll get people to, not just raise, volunteer as well. So contribution and then also awareness. 2 legs the campaign stands on. And as I said, we didn't want to do everything alone, so we said we'll form partnerships. So Perfect Relations was one partner, but if you look at, there are several organizations which came together. It's hard work to put this architecture together. From PVR to McDonald's to Tata Teleservices, which does computer centers and internet connection in rural schools with us, to Pearson. All of this have put together, now started calling this campaign their own. To the point that I remember on the telethon, the Perfect Relations team got pretty emotional and they contributed on the day itself. So when you bring in and you talk about issues which have high emotion, child not being able to go to school because of lack of sanitation, it's something which, which makes you squirm. And we talk about this great country, talk about moving into a superpower. These are some of the things. And the idea being that, okay, let us take this, and what the advantage became, and I'll share some of the, positive spin-offs, but when everybody starts calling this their own campaign, they start bringing in more partners. So if you look at the different colors, it's actually partners bringing in more partners, and this is only up to June. So I could probably add a few more easily, ISEC, Bharti Walmart, and so on and so forth. Then the other thing we started doing was, I don't know how many organizations look at a sustainability, I'll not call it CSR, a sustainability exercise and puts the whole power of the organization behind it. Is it just the job of the marketing team or maybe an HR team, or is it the whole organization is part of it? Because that will give you the kind of push, that will give you and it's not just the organization, it's the whole supply chain, the key accounts. Are we able to leverage them? When we say system is not just the organization, it's preceding, it's the supply chain, it's also in the front, the key accounts, or all your retailers. We went ahead and, leverage the whole system. So if you look at from key accounts like McDonald's, to associates who visited the school, to youth campaign ambassadors, social media, to having celebrations like the Teachers' Day, telethon you saw, we did a special Coke studio. So if marketing does this great property of Coke Studio, which everybody knows about, why not ride on the Coke Studio and do a Coke Studio special for Support My School? Through NGOs, celebrities, partners did their own outreach. Government platforms, and obviously somebody like Sachin Tendulkar. And let me tell you, it's not just Sachin Tendulkar's name and the face. His team actually helps us work on the campaign, which gives him the strength to talk about it. So we leveraged the whole system and we reached out, and I can tell you that each one of them is a storyable idea. Youth ambassadors, NGOs on ground, a special Coke studio, celebrities, obviously that's how everybody likes to see it from just that lens. McDonald's, Bharti Walmart, associates, partners, and I'll share some of the examples how we've gone ahead and talked about. This is Easy Day. Support My School campaign and Bharti Walmart came together, and you can actually see this in all the Easy Day stores. 3 rupees for every bottle that is sold will go to Support My School. Again, working in partnerships together. This is Act 2. This is what you will see this year and coming very soon on the bottle. International platform, unfortunately it is all darkened out, but let me tell you, international platforms. We were at the World Urban Forum, we got invited to the World Urban Forum to present this. At the World Water Week in Singapore, in Stockholm, Marseille. Because we have UN Habitat as a partner who's worked very closely with us, likes the model, likes the impact, wants to share it with the world, invites us to talk about its global forums. Just met the global UNESCO chief last Friday. So, again, as I said, another one that I'm very, very proud of is the Campus Connect. MDI Gurgaon students wrote to us, said, we want to do something. And they said, oh, then we talked, what can you do? Said, okay, let's do a B school competition across all top B schools. And the problem, I don't know if you want to do a B school competition is that nowadays you have to have a lot of prize money to do a B school competition. I decided, sorry, if I had the money, I would give it to the schools and not have it. And we went ahead with it. And we also put in another barrier. You cannot sit in an AC room and write about campaign like this. Entry, the condition to entry, making an entry in this competition, is that you have to visit a rural school, look at the things that you're talking about, and then send in your entry. We got 60 entries from 30 colleges. All your IMs, XLRI. They paid their way to come to the finals, which usually never happens in any of these B school competitions. And we had a winner. And you know who we had in the jury? The rural school principals. They were the jury members. So you take an idea, and again, all of this was, and you will see the story appear very soon. But it would not have been possible had HR not been with us, because they are the owners of the campus activation. We are working with Microsoft on an app because IT in our organization believes in it. UN Habitat I mentioned as a partner. We've got ISEC, the student body, global student body now partnering with us. You take the whole idea and you get enough and more activations around it which you can convert it into stories. Let me come to it, I'll speak from the impact perspective. The telethon reached out to about 15 million people in 12 hours, which was 12 hours. And let me give you a comparison, the Toyota Greenathon reaches 17 million people in 24 hours. So it will give you an idea on how this was slightly ahead of the other comparable idea. Sachin Tendulkar now is the National Sanitation Ambassador. So he'll be coming in movies along with Vidya Balan. We've got ISEC as the student body partner. We've got, from an organization perspective, we have got a great rural connect. We speak about at various platforms and are able to share some of the learnings from this. Government connect. We have spoken, met. This Rajasthan state government is engaging with us, trying to find out how we can work on them in a similar model. Because government, we understood, had a toilet program, a water program, a plantation program, but all of three were in all three different directions. So our job was to influence. I do not particularly believe what Harish said was, there has to be a profit motive. I think it's a very singular way of looking at it, and I don't want to move away from that. But I think if you look at CSR from one as a sustainability standpoint, a lot of it is not just to do with profit. A lot of it has to do with, can you actually contribute good with what you have? Is what are you good at? And Coca-Cola being this great brand, it was our ability to leverage the media in the right manner, leverage a Sachin Tendulkar-like celebrity in a manner which he does now, and be able to make a social impact. So the same team that actually does this great Khushiyon Wali Dhoops, Sunshine Wali Asha, is actually the same team that does this. It's a great HR talking point. Everybody loves it. We use it to hire people in all the top colleges. Importantly, when I spoke about the architecture, we spoke about partners. We gave enough space to partners. Tetra Pak is a contributor, and a Merck Foundation. We've got, and we do a lot of grassroots connect. I think there was a question on rural. We do a lot of rural exercises on this campaign. It is nothing to do with the brand Coke. They are right now not the kind of people who will probably go and buy too much of it. But we do a lot of visits. We do a lot of these around the PR campaigns around it. And a lot of them are as simple as a cycle rally. Children, bacche school mein achhe cycle rally. So the children of the school will take out a cycle rally. Media loves it in that because everybody wants to do either they are political rallies or they are some other kind. But children in a cycle, bacche school mein achhe cycle rally. Or a simple inter-school sports competition among rural schools doesn't cost anything. Because we build sports facilities. Obviously, we've created a whole architecture of communication, and the telethon is a very integral part of it with NDTV. We bring in our partners, we give them their space to talk, give them their space to explain. So the gentleman, the Sardarji gentleman, it's in my left corner, is one of our bottlers. So when the press release goes out in his region, it goes out with his picture. When it goes out in a FMCG-led publication, it goes out with a Easy Day Now or with a McDonald's. When it goes out in a space where Tetra Pak is strong, the pictures go out with Tetra Pak. This campaign is not all about us trying to do something. It's together we are trying to do something. Us as in Coke trying to do something. I'll just give you 30 seconds to just go through some of the things that we've heard. And these are as important to us as your media stories are. Just look at the last one for sure. And this is the real impact that we're talking when we say PR through a campaign like this. I would like to donate my Merit Scholarship Award to this cause to the amount of rupees 27,500. I would like this to go towards building toilet for girls in Bhopal. That is the emotion we're talking about when people start investing in us. So PR is not about just getting your story out. It's also about getting the right impact that happens on the ground. And when things like these are written to us, and I have about 1,400 of these kind of comments. Mere mare hue bete ke naam par, because this is what he would like to do. This is when Coca-Cola actually starts becoming an India organization. It becomes Coca-Cola India rather than this foreign multinational. So there's a bigger objective. It's not just linked to profitability. Obviously, profitability does fall into place.
Generally, I think everybody should be aware that any campaign should have a back-end design to provide accountability and challenges that the campaign is making.
Absolutely.
Because as you say, the negative press onslaughts can turn a well-designed campaign into a PR nightmare if you are making claims that you cannot back up.
Absolutely. And let me tell you, anything that we claim, our sustainability reports are usually late by about 8-10 months. It's because every claim is vetted at A, B, C, D, E level, and it takes so much time to even come out with the report. So when we make a claim, we make sure that we back it up. And second, I didn't talk about the mechanisms of how we govern it. There is an external governing board. The SOS India chief is part of the board. The HelpAge India chief is part of the board. And we take criticism from them for the campaign, and we try to improve the campaign. And then an Ernst & Young kind of report. So we try, so there is a whole back-end work that goes on, and there is a big team that handles that. My job is the fancy job, talk about it, and take it to all the, and let me tell you the things. We get offers from film stars who want to be part of this campaign. And they don't charge any money. So Malika Sherawat was my ultimate when I got a call from her office. So she's coming to my school, so I'm very happy. So I'll take up you had a question? Sorry, last one before
Sort out the entire campaign.
Sure.
Yeah, what was the brief to your PR agency?
Okay, so the brief was
Was that to only support the issue, or was that to also push the brand?
No. See, as I said, this campaign has evolved. It used to be called Adopt My School. And one of the feedback that we got from the PR team then was, if you say adopt, it actually means you're going to continue to work for the rest of the lives in this school. So move away from adopt to support. You know, as simple as things like these. Adopt My School gives a different connotation than support my school. So as it evolved, their brief and their interaction has continued to change. One thing that we constantly ask them to look for, and they also keep coming to us with the issues around water. So when you get a daily news update on XYZ issues, now we have a daily news update on issues around school, sanitation, so on and so forth. So if you look at today's Times of India, there is a new sanitation thing. So I think one of the team members was the happiest when Sachin Tendulkar got picked National Sanitation Ambassador because we had something else to talk about. But it's an ever-evolving activity. We just had a brief last week about a 3-hour long because our telethon is due in 2.5 months. So we work with them, we take messages from them, they tell us what people are interested to listen to. Now that they've told us, and you will see more often, beginning this week, is impact stories on individuals. We did school stories. Ki school kitna acha ho gaya dekho, and you would have seen the school. One impact story of that girl. If you look from here on, you will see a lot of the Ruchi from this school or a Radha from that school kind of stories coming. So that is again based on feedback from them that we have started working on. Not always. If it comes, great. If it doesn't, great. Because I'm telling you, ultimately, can you do this campaign and not mention Coke? You have to do this campaign, you have to mention Coke. Today, Business Standard did a story on Journey. It came with a Coca-Cola India Support My School logo. You cannot take away Coke's name from the campaign. Do what you want to. Thank you very much, guys.